Seinfeld, 1989 to 1998, is widely regarded as one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, bringing laughter to millions with its quirky characters and iconic moments. However, behind the scenes, where the laughter seemed endless, lurked tragedies that few could have anticipated. The talented cast, who breathed life into this legendary show, faced hardships that starkly contrasted with the comedy they portrayed on screen. From devastating illnesses and sudden accidents to long battles with health issues and personal struggles, not all of them had the happy endings their characters enjoyed. In this article, we delve into the untold stories, uncovering the hidden tragedies behind the dazzling success of Seinfeld. These were the people who made the world laugh, while privately grappling with struggles that few ever knew. Estelle Harris was born on April 22, 1928, a woman whose unmistakable voice and razor-sharp comedic timing made her an unforgettable presence in television history. As Estelle Costanza, the overbearing, shrill-voiced mother of George Costanza in Seinfeld, she delivered some of the sitcom's most iconic, hilariously exasperated moments. Beyond Seinfeld, Harris was beloved as the voice of Mrs. Potato Head in the Toy Story franchise and appeared in numerous films and TV series such as Out to Sea, 1997, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, 2005 to 2008. But behind her comedic brilliance was a woman who endured a private world of struggles. Despite a long marriage to her husband, Cy Harris, the couple weathered turbulent times, including a near-fatal car accident in 2001 that left them both shaken. Harris, a mother of three, faced the heartbreak of outliving many close friends and industry peers. She battled health complications in her later years, and on April 2, 2022, she passed away from natural causes at the age of 93. Though she spent a lifetime making others laugh, her final years were marked by increasing frailty, a far cry from the fiery energy she brought to her most famous roles. Wayne Knight was born on August 7, 1955, and unlike the mild-mannered Ruth Cohen, he played one of Seinfeld's most outrageous and detestable characters, Newman, Jerry's nemesis and the scheming, eccentric postal worker. His ability to bring humor and sleaziness to the role made Newman one of the most memorable antagonists in sitcom history. But Knight's career extended far beyond Seinfeld, with major roles in Jurassic Park, 1993, Basic Instinct, 1992, and Third Rock from the Sun. However, while his professional life was booming in the 90s, his personal life was filled with struggles. His first marriage to makeup artist Paula Suter ended in divorce, a relationship reportedly strained by his rising fame and the pressures of Hollywood. Knight later remarried but has spoken about his lifelong battles with weight issues, which led to health complications and a dramatic weight loss journey. While he has continued to work steadily in television and voice acting, he has never quite escaped the shadow of Newman, a character so iconic that he still gets recognized and taunted with Jerry's infamous, "Hello, Newman," greeting wherever he goes. Though he has embraced his legacy with good humor, there is an undeniable tension between his comedic success and the typecasting that has followed him for decades. Now, in his late 60s, he continues to act but remains largely out of the public eye, avoiding the spotlight that once both lifted him to fame and trapped him in the role of the forever despised, yet beloved, Newman. Jerry Stiller, born on June 8, 1927, carved out a legacy as one of the most memorable comic actors of his generation. Before playing Frank Costanza, the hot-tempered, eccentric father of George on Seinfeld, Stiller had already found fame as one half of the comedy duo Stiller and Meara alongside his wife, Ann Meara. His portrayal of Frank Costanza, with his signature outbursts and absurd catchphrases like "Serenity Now," made him a fan favorite, leading to another beloved TV dad role as Arthur Spooner in The King of Queens. However, despite his public persona as a comedic powerhouse, his personal life was not without sorrow. His marriage to Meara, though strong, was often strained by her battle with depression and their differing approaches to fame. The couple had 2 children, including actor Ben Stiller, but their family life was far from idyllic, marked by Meara's struggles with faith and identity after converting to Judaism. Stiller himself faced a long battle with declining health in his final years, ultimately passing away on May 11, 2020, at the age of 92 due to natural causes. Though he lived a long and successful life, he spent his last years grieving the loss of his wife, who had died in 2015. His final days were quiet and subdued, a stark contrast to the bombastic, larger-than-life characters he brought to the screen. Jerry Seinfeld was born on April 29, 1954, and his life has been defined by an almost obsessive devotion to comedy. Rising through the stand-up ranks in the late 70s and early 80s, he created Seinfeld, a show that revolutionized sitcoms with its show-about-nothing premise and razor-sharp observational humor. His portrayal of a fictionalized version of himself, Jerry Seinfeld, the neurotic yet charming comedian, cemented his place in television history. But behind the smirk and effortless comedic timing, Jerry's personal life has been anything but simple. His highly publicized relationship with Shoshana Lonstein, whom he started dating when she was just 17 and he was 38, raised eyebrows and cast a shadow over his otherwise clean image. Though he later married Jessica Seinfeld in 1999, their relationship has not been without its fair share of controversy, as she was still married when they first met. While his career remains strong, headlining Netflix specials and continuing his passion for classic cars through comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, his legacy is not without its complications. Critics argue that his humor, once groundbreaking, now feels out of touch, and his recent interviews often spark backlash for dismissive remarks about modern comedy and cancel culture. Despite his immense wealth and continued success, there remains an air of dissatisfaction, as if the man who once ruled television is still searching for something beyond the laughter. Liz Sheridan was born on April 10, 1929, and though many knew her best as the sweet yet fiercely protective Helen Seinfeld, Jerry's doting mother on Seinfeld, her life before the sitcom was filled with romance, heartbreak, and ambition. In the 1950s, she had a passionate love affair with a then-unknown James Dean, a romance she later detailed in her book Dizzy and Jimmy. Though their love was intense, it was ultimately doomed, as Dean left her behind in pursuit of Hollywood stardom before his tragic death. Sheridan never fully recovered from the heartbreak, though she went on to marry jazz musician Dale Wales, with whom she shared a long but largely private life. Before Seinfeld, she had a career filled with small but memorable roles in shows like Alf and the A-Team, though she never reached leading lady status. As time passed, she found herself typecast as a kindly motherly figure, a far cry from the vibrant, rebellious woman she once was. Her later years were marked by reclusive tendencies and declining health, and on April 15, 2022, she passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 93, just 5 days after her birthday. Though she had spent much of her career playing supportive roles, those who knew her understood that she had once lived a life of passion, adventure, and longing for something just out of reach. Michael Richards was born on July 24, 1949, a man whose brilliance in physical comedy made Cosmo Kramer one of the most unforgettable characters in television history. With his towering frame, frenzied entrances, and wild-haired charisma, he turned Kramer into a legend, bringing boundless energy to Seinfeld for all 9 seasons. However, the heights of his career were matched by devastating lows. His attempt at a solo sitcom, The Michael Richards Show, flopped disastrously in 2000, and he soon faded from the spotlight. But the most infamous moment of his life came in 2006 when a racist tirade during a stand-up performance at the Laugh Factory shattered his career overnight. The fallout was brutal: public outrage, ruined friendships, and a forced retreat from Hollywood. Apologizing on The Late Show with David Letterman, he seemed broken, a man struggling to reconcile his once beloved persona with the deep flaws he had exposed. Since then, Richards has largely withdrawn from public life, making only rare appearances, including a short-lived return to comedy and a small role in Jerry Seinfeld's B-movie. His marriage to Beth Skipp has remained intact, but his years in exile from entertainment have been marked by introspection, regret, and the inescapable weight of his past. Today, he remains a recluse, occasionally spotted by paparazzi but never reclaiming the glory he once had. For a man who once commanded the room with unbridled energy, his life now exists in quiet retreat, a stark contrast to the larger-than-life character who once slid through Jerry's apartment door to raucous applause. Barney Martin was born on March 3, 1923, and his road to Hollywood was anything but conventional. Before he became the beloved, penny-pinching Morty Seinfeld, he had been a New York City police officer, a job he worked for nearly 2 decades before transitioning into entertainment. His sense of humor and sharp wit made him a natural performer, leading to a career in stand-up comedy and later acting. Though he found fame late in life, Seinfeld made him a household name, and he continued acting in films like Arthur, 1981, and The Producers, 2005. But behind the laughs, Martin suffered personal heartbreak. The loss of friends from his time on the force, the strain of transitioning careers, and the relentless demands of Hollywood weighed on him. His marriage to his wife, Catherine Martin, endured, but it was not without its struggles. Long separations due to his work led to frequent tension. In his final years, Martin battled lung cancer, a cruel disease that slowly took away the voice that had brought so much laughter. He passed away on March 21, 2005, at the age of 82. Though he had spent much of his life bringing joy to audiences, his final days were quiet and reflective, spent far from the cameras that had once captured his larger-than-life persona. Jason Alexander was born on September 23, 1959, and despite being best known for playing the perpetually unlucky, neurotic, and self-sabotaging George Costanza on Seinfeld, his real-life struggles were, in some ways, just as frustrating. A trained stage actor with dreams of Broadway, he initially felt stifled by the sitcom world, yearning for the respect of the theater while Seinfeld skyrocketed him to fame. Though the show made him a household name, it also typecast him, preventing him from ever fully breaking out into leading roles in film or television. His marriage to Dina Title has been long-lasting, but not without its hardships. Alexander has spoken about periods of deep self-doubt, insecurity, and professional frustration that have put a strain on his personal life. While he has found some success in directing, voice acting, and appearing in various guest roles, he has never been able to shake the shadow of George Costanza. His post-Seinfeld career has been a roller coaster, with occasional highs, like his Tony Award-winning work on Broadway, and disappointing lows, including failed sitcom attempts. In recent years, he has taken to social media and political activism, but his sharp, sometimes polarizing opinions have garnered both admiration and criticism. Though he remains active in the industry, the lingering frustration of never quite escaping the bumbling, neurotic character he played for nearly a decade still weighs on him. Len Lesser was born on December 3, 1922, and though he became a familiar face to television audiences as the boisterous, eyebrow-raising Uncle Leo on Seinfeld, his career spanned decades before he found sitcom fame. He was a character actor through and through, appearing in films like Papillon, 1973, and Kelly's Heroes, 1970, alongside legends like Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood. Despite his ability to make audiences laugh with Leo's over-the-top enthusiasm and habit of exclaiming, "Hello," at the most inopportune moments, Lesser's personal life was often lonely. He was married to Janice Burrell for many years, and together they had 2 children, but after their divorce, he lived much of his later life in solitude, immersing himself in work to escape the emptiness of an empty house. His career, while prolific, never afforded him true stardom, and he struggled with being recognized only as Uncle Leo despite a lifetime of work in film and television. In his later years, Lesser battled cancer, a fight that drained him of the vitality that had once made him such a dynamic performer. On February 16, 2011, he passed away from pneumonia at the age of 88. The man who had once brought relentless energy to the screen faded away quietly, his final years spent reflecting on a career that had never quite given him the recognition he had longed for. Ruth Cohen was born on January 28, 1930, and though her name may not be instantly recognizable, her face was a familiar one to Seinfeld fans. As Ruthie Cohen, the cashier at Monk's Cafe, she was a silent but constant presence in the background of the sitcom's most iconic moments. Appearing in more episodes than any other background character, she became an unspoken part of the show's DNA. But outside of Seinfeld, Cohen lived a quiet and largely uncelebrated life in Hollywood, with only a few minor roles to her name. While her professional life never reached the heights of her more famous co-stars, her personal life was equally unassuming. Little is known about her romantic relationships, but she remained largely out of the public eye both during and after the show's run. She passed away on August 23, 2008, at the age of 78, leaving behind a legacy not of stardom but of quiet, enduring presence, a reminder that sometimes, even in the loudest sitcoms, the smallest roles still leave an impact. Richard Hurd was born on September 26, 1932, and while Seinfeld fans knew him as Mr. Wilhelm, George Costanza's eccentric and frequently confused boss at the Yankees, He was a veteran character actor with a career built on authority figures and no-nonsense roles. He was a commanding presence in films like The China Syndrome, 1979, and All the President's Men, 1976, as well as the sci-fi miniseries V, 1983. However, beneath his tough exterior was a man haunted by personal losses. Hurt's first marriage to actress Imelda Cuddy ended in heartbreak, and his second marriage to Dolores Wozidlo, while lasting until his death, was marked by long periods of separation due to his relentless work schedule. He had children from his relationships, but he often spoke of regret over missed moments in their lives, sacrificed for the sake of his craft. In his final years, he faced the slow decline of old age, battling cancer that sapped him of his strength. He passed away on May 26, 2020, at the age of 87, a man who had built a career on portraying men in control, only to find himself powerless against time and illness. His passing marked the end of a life dedicated to the screen, yet filled with personal regrets that no role could ever erase. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was born on January 13, 1961, and unlike many of her Seinfeld co-stars, she defied the supposed Seinfeld curse, going on to have one of the most successful post-sitcom careers in Hollywood. As Elaine Benes, she was sharp, independent, and effortlessly funny, a role that made her one of the most beloved female sitcom characters of all time. But behind the laughs, her life has not been without struggles. Despite coming from immense wealth, her father was billionaire Gerard Louis-Dreyfus. She spent much of her career trying to prove she earned her success on her own. Her marriage to actor and writer Brad Hall has been strong, though the pressures of Hollywood, raising children, and battling sexism in the industry have not always made things easy. In 2017, she faced her biggest challenge yet, a breast cancer diagnosis that forced her to step away from the spotlight at the height of her Veep success. Through humor and resilience, she fought the disease and emerged victorious, becoming an inspiration for many. Today, she is still a powerhouse in Hollywood, continuing to land major roles while advocating for political and social causes. Though she has achieved more than most actors could ever dream of, there remains a toughness in her, a sense that, despite her comedic brilliance, she has had to fight harder than people realize to be taken seriously in an industry that often underestimated her. What are your thoughts on the lives, careers, and passing of the actors from Seinfeld? And who do you remember the most among them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos.